Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Mashiach, Wamalaki Bashai, double honors to the elect elders of the house of David, that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Akwat out there, the sincere sisters that are out there zealous, diligent, and on fire, moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to the ancient men. Shalom to the children. Shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to everybody tuning in live on a mighty new moon, the 8th month, right? We are entering into the 8th month through the spirit and power of Yahweh and his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. Shalom Dinah, Dine Israel Tamid, Yaakov Israel, HBK Int, Diamond Rivers, T Sellers, Kasia Servant 144K, Mark Orozco, Brother Azariah, Shalom King, Aka Rectitude, Ak Amam Bani Asha'Allah, and everybody else again tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing. Like I said, through the spirit and power of the Most High, this is another month, like I always say, through the spirit of the Most High, to transition out of darkness, to increase in light, to examine ourselves, and to understand that we are patterned after Yahweh Bashmi Shai in his likeness and in his image. And the creation of the Most High must be observed, and you must receive instruction from the Most High, right? So observing the new moon, it's not just observing the phases of the moon and knowing that it's what you call the dark moon now, but it's also an opportunity that the Most High has given us for us to examine ourselves. Really, it's every day, but how much more the new moon that comes in once a month, another day for us to examine ourselves to make sure that we are increasing in light and that we are coming out of darkness. Right? Remember, the sun and the moon, they converse with the sons of God, and we receive instruction from the beasts of the field, from the stars, from the sun, the moon, right? We receive instruction from the things that were made for us by our King, Yahweh Shai, with the instruction of his father, Yahweh. Now, this Ecclesiasticus chapter 43 and verse number 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world, right? So you have 12 moons, right, that come in their respective month, for lack of better terms. And each month has particular ordinances and days that the Most High set up. You have Shabbats, right? You have your new moon, certain appointed times. You have high holy days in the middle of the month, like the Feast of Tabernacles, the Passover. You have other days that come in, solemn days and days of gladness and days of joy. The moon is also a declaration of times. It's for days, months, and years. That's what the moon is for through the spirit and power of the Most High, right? And it's a sign of the world. You have eclipses, you have blood moons, you have these different phases that the moon goes through in different cycles and interactions with the sun that instructs man and lets man know that judgment is coming, war is coming, the Most High is going to touch the earth. You'll see that with the observation of the moon, right? Verse number 7. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Right. When you have these 12 moons that come in throughout the year, each month you'll have set feast, or certain months you'll have set feast based off of what moon is there at that time, right? Like the seventh moon. Once that seventh moon comes in throughout that cycle, 15 days from that new moon is now the Feast of Tabernacles. And you'll see that great harvest moon in the air, right? For the first month, you'll have the month of Abib. And you'll know once 15 days from that first new moon that you'll have the Passover, which is also a bright full moon, right? So the moon is a sign of feast and a light that decreaseth in her perfection. It's perfected and its full estate, right? Verse number 8. The month is called after her name. That's where you get the word month from. It literally goes back to the word moon. increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. And we bring this out just about every new moon lesson to constantly remind you, brothers and sisters, that you have to be like the moon in the spirit and increase wonderfully in your changing. So, all of the things that you were struggling with last month, last week, yesterday, 5 minutes ago, 10 seconds ago, now you have an opportunity going into this new moon that the Most High have given you. And nobody's worthy and nobody deserves to have another month in this truth. We should all be cut off. Our righteousness are likened as filthy rags, right? I mean, our works are iniquity. The Most High said through David, the prophet, the king, the sweet psalmist of Israel, he said that man at his best estate is altogether vanity. So nobody deserves to be in his truth. So here we have an opportunity that the Most High has given us and this new moon to increase wonderfully, and we should take full advantage of it by self-examination, removing things that are withholding us from striving to perfection. Every brother should be looking to increase wonderfully and change day by day, right? That's what the moon is instructing us to do. Being an instrument of the armies above, right? You have the moon, you have the constellations, right? You have the stars shining in the firmament of heaven. So the moon is always shining. The moon always has that light until you have that dark moon where it resets and then it rebuilds itself back up to light. So this is the time for brothers to rebuild, to build themselves back up, and to increase in light through the spirit and power of Yahweh and his only begotten son, Yahushua. Now I want to touch on this. This is the 8th month of the year, right? Let's go to 1 Kings, right? And the name of this lesson, I believe I titled this, The Demons That Caused the Flood, right? The demons that caused the flood during the days of Noah, right? Let's go to 1 Kings. This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 6, and verse number 38. It reads, and in the 11th year, and the month Bul, which is the 8th month, was the house finished throughout all the parts thereof, and according to all the fashion of it, so was he 7 years in building it. So this month is when the Most High put the spirit of Solomon to finish the house, right? To finish the house of the Lord. He took 7 years to build the temple and 14 years to build his own house. It was done in this month, right? So this month, even you can look it up. You can see all of the different events that happened in the 8th month, right? But this month is called the month of Bul, right? This is one of the names of this month. And this is when the temple was completed. Now let's type into this word Bul through the spirit and power of the Most High, right? Now it reads, it says Bul, right? Bawal or Bawal, and it says in the sense of rain, right? Because we're going to tap into this. Slocky, let me go back. We're going to tap into what this month means and why we touching on the flood, right? So it says this month means, it has this root word right here, which is really the same word. That means produce or outgrowth, right? Produce or outgrowth that comes from the rain, Remember, during this month, if we were to take a time machine 3,500 years ago, we didn't have grocery stores, right? We didn't have whatever you have in your area. You got Giant and Kroger's and Myers and Safeway and whatever you have out there, right? Publix. They didn't have those. People were husbandmen, right? They were horticulturalists. They tilled the ground. They went to agriculture, husbandry, and labor. So during this month, this 8th month, this is when you got your rain that came in right after your harvest. We just came out the harvest, which was the Feast of Tabernacles. And then after that time, this rain would start to come in. This is your early, it's like your early rain that would come in. You have your early rain and your latter rain, right? We're going to touch on the rain in a particular point. Now, when you jump down, it says increase produce, the 8th month corresponding to modern day between October and November, right? October and November. That's the month that we're in, right? It says the same as what we read earlier, in a sense of rain, the 8th month. It reads, now here's the lexicon: rain, showers. Hence the month of showers. The eighth of, it says Jewish, the eighth of the Jewish months from the new moon of November to that of December. And they give the precept that we read, 1 Kings 6 and 38. So this month is the month of rain and showers, right? And like we read earlier, I said earlier, you're supposed to receive instruction from the Most High, right? And you do get, in the ancient world, you get a lot of that early rain that comes in, right? And that's a charge. And that reminded me, when I was looking into this, that reminded me of the flood, man, right? So I said, through the Spirit of the Most High, let's touch on the rain, right? We're going to touch on the rain. We're going to touch on these spirits that caused the flood, because this is the month of the flood. This is the month of the rain. This is the month of the showers. Even when the ark rested on the 17th, or the floods were abated on the 17th day of the 7th month, right? So even right after that, that's when that flood was over. Let me get that in Genesis 7, right? I didn't plan on going too deep into this, but let's go to Genesis. Actually, I want 8, right? This is Genesis chapter 8 and verse number 3. And the waters returned from off the earth continually, and after the end of 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. And the 10th month, on the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountain seen. Right. So right after that ark rested, you had the 8th month, and you had the Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They were in that ark, right, until those waters went down, and then they got out that ark. So that 8th month always has a correlation to rain, or to showers, or to the flood, right? Now here's let me get this real quick. This is Slakia. Let me pull this up. So again, this is the 8th month, right? Here's the Assyrian, or Slakia, Babylonian names, right, that brothers may read in the scriptures: Nisan, Ayar, Sivan, Tammuz, Av, etc. Right? Now, Keshvan, that's another name for this month. Sometimes you see different names, right? But that's another name for the month. What else did I have? This is, just touching on this, this is Keshvan, or Bul. This is a Hebrew calendar, which I've showed plenty of times, that shows the months. On the left, you'll see that. You'll see the Assyrian and the Hebrew names on the 2nd column. You'll see high holy days or events in this 3rd column. And you'll see the agricultural aspect and the climatic aspect of those months, and what happens with the weather patterns during that month, right? You'll see rain during this month, or summer, or heat, etc. And these are things that we all knew in the ancient world. And this last column, you see the produce of the crops, right, that were coming up out the earth at that time, right? So during this 8th month, let's pull this back up, right? You had the light rains. Right after this, the summer was over, right? We just came out this 7th month. The summer was over. We kept that solemn assembly, that 8th day of the Feast of Tabernacles, and it's plowing time. Right? It's plowing, and you plant your seeds, and your seeds are going to be watered by that early rain, right? Your seeds are going to be watered by that early rain. So again, we're going to touch on the rain, because there's a significant event that happened regarding the rain, and we all are aware of the flood, right? We all are aware of the flood. Now, it didn't rain before the flood, right? It didn't rain before the flood. So it's spiritual. We're going into this because, again, this 8th month reminds you of the flood, and that's what the name Bul, or that's what it actually goes into, because during the 8th month, you got those rains, you got those early rains, right? And if you remember the account of Noah, when it began to rain, that was a sign that destruction was right there. It never rained before the ark was built, and before the flood. It never rained. There was a mist that went up off the ground. We're going to read that. This is Genesis chapter 2 and verse number 5. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yahweh, Bashmi Abishai, had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. So the Lord did not have it rain. Nobody knew about rain. It was a new thing. Just like when we prophesy of missiles and the Lord raining fire and brimstone. You have to rain by water. Now you're going to have to rain by fire. You have to flood by water, and you're going to have a flood by fire. Whew. All right, let me know if you can see me and or hear me. Right? Let me know if you can see me and or hear me. Why hell is breaking loose, man? Satan, right? Satan, right? Cometh. I've never really. It's been about a week now. I seen that they was having all these global outages, with Amazon and these social media sites, but I've never had internet trouble where I've been at. You know, only time I've had internet trouble is if I'm doing a cold cut on the plantation in the car somewhere and it's choppy. But where I'm at, through the spirit of the Most High, I've never had internet trouble. Satan's coming immediately. There's been times I'm doing videos. I was talking to Araya, telling brothers, damn, stuff start water coming out of nowhere out the ceiling. There's not even any pipes around. Stuff is falling. It's spirits. It's really this is spiritual, man. There's a lot of spirits, right? Trying to hinder this word from coming out, man. Hey, but if it be the Most High, you can't overthrow it. Less happily it be found even to fight against the Most High, right? So we're gonna stay in prayer. The Lord said, and let me get this quick precept in Second Thessalonians, and it's for everybody tuning in, man. This is important, right? Let's go to Second Thessalonians chapter 3:1. I'm gonna deviate for a split second, right? Then I'm gonna go back to the lesson. But I have to get this. This is Second Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse number 1. It reads, finally, brethren, pray for us that the word of the Lord may have free course and be glorified even as it is with you. So it's important, man. It's important, the men that are out there doing this work. It's not just myself, but other brothers. You have other brothers that are out there in sincerity. And even some of you brothers, you go out there and teach, man. We got to pray for each other and for brothers that are out there, especially with all these spirits and principalities and, shutting this internet down and these looming threats of misinformation and disinformation and shutting channels down. We got to pray that this word has free course. This has to be paramount in our prayers. As much as brothers pray for protection, guidance, wisdom, understanding, etc., we got to ramp up these prayers that the word has free course. Even myself, before I get into these lessons, man. You brothers, before you get into your lessons, man, pray that the Most High allows his word to have free course and not just have free course, but be glorified, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah, right? Because again, you have spirits that are going to ramp up and these last days that are going to try to hinder this word from going out. So this spiritual warfare is increasing. All right. All right, hold on. All right, let me know if you can hear me. All right. Let me know if you can hear me. This word gonna go out. This word is gonna go out. Right. Most High willing, if I gotta stay up all night This lesson going to go out, right? All right, can you see me? Let me know if you can see me. Right, through the spirit and power of the Most High. Right, it looks strange on my end, but let me know if you can see me. Right, if so, I'm gonna continue right with the lesson. All right, we back at it. All right, we back at it. So before I was so rudely interrupted by the spiritual demon Satan, right? Again, brothers, pray that this word has free course. Right, we were touching on in Genesis, the second chapter, how the Most High said there went up a mist from the earth and it watered the whole face of the ground, right? So prior to Noah's time, there was no rain. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 11, right? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 11, and I will add to that Hebrews chapter 11 and verse number 7. By faith, Noah, being warned of the Most High, of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heirs of the righteousness which is by faith. So you see, it says, by faith, Noah, being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, right? And we're warning the people, and we've been warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, of the chariots, of the ICBM missiles, of the famine, of the economic collapse, of World War III, of the Valley of Decision and Armageddon. We're being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet. And that warning that we get, it's our job to convey and give that warning to the people. So we're warning the saints of things not seen as yet, and we have to move with fear, right? Knowing that the Most High's destruction draws nigh, and whatever the Most High said, it will come to pass. That's Isaiah chapter 55 and 11, right? So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth, it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish the thing in where I sent it, paraphrasing. So again, this shows that prior to the flood, it never rained through the spirit. And this is again for brothers that are just tuning in. We were touching on this is the month of rain, and this is the month of the flood through the spirit, right? Let's go to the book of Genesis, the 6th chapter, right? So we're touching on the demons that caused the flood, right? Question mark. The demons that caused the flood, right? Genesis chapter 6 and 1. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Now, this is a beautiful subtitle they put right here: the corruption of mankind. So we're touching, when you go to the 6th chapter, it does touch on the corruption of mankind. The corruption we want to touch on is the corruption of the sons of God. We're going to touch on the corruption of the sons of God. We've touched on the corruption of the sons of Cain and their inventions and their devices and their wars and murders on the earth. We're going to touch on particular demons that caused the flood. We're going to touch on the sons of God. Let's read it again from the top. Genesis 6 and 1. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, right? That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. Now, these sons of God are talking about the lineage of Adam and Seth and other respective men. A lot of people may read this verse and think that this is talking about actual angels that came down and had sex with men. It doesn't say angels, it says the sons of God, right? During this time, the sons of God came from Adam and Seth. You had Adam, you had Seth, you had Enos, you had all these men that were raised up in the law. They were taught the knowledge of the Most High. They were taught the fear of the Most High, right? They were taught laws and sacrifice. Adam taught those things to Abel. When Abel was murdered in cold blood, the Most High replaced him and appointed him another son, Seth. Adam taught that to Seth. Let me get that in Ecclesiasticus, right? The 49th chapter. Adam was given laws and commandments, and he passed that down to Seth. So the sons of God in the ancient world, they saw the daughters of men, right? Now, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 49 and verse 16. Sem and Seth were in great honor among men, and so was Adam above every living thing in the creation. So Adam was an honorable man. You know, he went off, he had his sin, but he came up out of that thing. That's Ecclesiastes, Wisdom of Solomon, the 10th chapter. So with that, Adam taught Seth. And Seth was a big deal. To be in great honor among men, not regular honor, not I kind of know that guy, he looked familiar. No, to be in great honor among men is a big deal, which means you had a reputation, you had notoriety, right? You had righteousness, you had holiness. That's what gives you honor, right? Let's get that in Proverbs 21 and 21. What gives you honor? Proverbs chapter 21 and 21. It reads, he that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. So if Seth was in great honor, it means that Seth followed after righteousness and mercy, which means he was obedient to the Most High's laws and commandments that he had. So he found life, he found righteousness, and like we just read in the Apocrypha, he also found honor. So if Seth was righteous, Seth taught that to his sons. Right? Let's go to Genesis and let's touch on these sons of God. Let's go to Genesis chapter 4. Right? Let's touch on Genesis chapter 4. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse number 25. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son and called his name Seth. For the Most High, said she, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. Because the Lord put the spirit on Cain and he murdered Abel. And Abel went up to the spirit world and he was complaining about the murder and the injustice that was done to him in the land of the living. The Most High, being ever merciful as he is, he has blessed Adam and his wife with another son named Seth. Verse number 26. And to Seth, to him also, there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of Yahweh. Right? So Adam, and then Seth, and then Enos. Enos was also righteous. Like I said, well, it doesn't say he was righteous. How do you know he could have been wicked? Well, we know he was righteous because he's mentioned by name in the lineage of Adam and Seth. So when you go through all of these men, and remember, Adam had, don't think that Adam just had Cain and Abel. Christians just think Adam had Cain and Abel. They don't even know about Seth. 90% of Christianity, they don't even know who Seth was. And they don't even know that Adam had other sons and daughters that were born unto him. Tells you that. We're going to touch on that. All these sons of God have multiple sons and multiple daughters. But Seth is mentioned by name and Enos are mentioned by name because they are the chosen ones of that lineage. The Most High wasn't dealing with the other sons. He wasn't dealing with the other daughters. He was dealing with Enos. The Most High always has a chosen. There's always a particular person that the Most High is dealing with. There has never been a time since the creation of man where the Most High wasn't dealing with an individual or a particular lineage. He's always had that. He's always had a remnant of men. Let me get this in Psalms real quick, chapter 4. Right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 4 and verse number 2. It reads, O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? And we're going to touch on this. This is what some of the sons of God did. We're going to touch on what happened and why the flood came. Certain, and I'm kind of jumping the gun, but I'm going to bring it all back home. Certain of the sons of God turned the glory of the Most High to shame. And he started going off, following the ways of the children of men and the children of the wicked, through marriage and revelry and wickedness. How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing Salah? Right? So lies, deception. But know that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call unto him. So there's always a person or a particular people that the Most High is going to set apart. When everybody's turning his glory into shame, when everybody's committing idolatry, sacrilege, bowing down to the heathen, accepting their philosophies, marrying their woman, freaking off, the Most High has always set apart him that is godly for himself. Let's go to Romans chapter 11, right? Romans, didn't the Lord tell Elijah that? Right? This Romans chapter 11 and verse number 3. It reads, Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. Right? Because Elijah, he was on a run. He was being chased and pursued by Jezebel and Ahab. And Jezebel was slaying all of the prophets. And you would have thought that the entire nation fell into apostasy. And nobody served the Most High but Elijah. That's what he thought. He was the only one that served the Lord. But let's see what the Most High said in verse number 4. But what said the answer of the Most High to him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So there's always a remnant of men. Remember, when you read these accounts, when you read First Kings, there's a man named Obadiah, and he fed the prophets with bread and water. Right? He fed prophets. You always have prophets and the sons of God who never fall astray. Even in these last days, the Lord hath reserved 7,000 men. 7,000 just means a complete amount, an indefinite amount, a perfect amount, if you will. And those souls, they're not going to bow the knee to the image of Baal. They're not going to celebrate Christmas. They're not going to celebrate Halloween. They're not going to worship this beast. You're not going to conform to his image. They're not going to bow down to the New World Order. They're not going to be into worldly religions. There's always a select amount of souls, like I keep saying, through the Spirit of the Most High, that refuse to bow the knee to the image of Baal. Verse number 5. Even so then, at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. So if that's in this present time, it was also in the ancient world. Remember, during the time of Noah, you had nothing but wickedness going on with the sons of Cain. And if you brothers didn't watch that lesson, I'm not going to go too deep into that, but there's a lesson I did a while ago that touches on the sons of Cain, right? When you touch on Lamech and you touch on, these different men that came out of Cain, how they were putting wickedness in the earth through their inventions and through their murder and through their sorcery. But the Most High always had a remnant that still served him. And Enos and that lineage, they're that remnant according to the election of grace. Now, let's go back to Genesis chapter 4 and let's read verse number 26. All right, let me make sure this ain't cut. All right, let's go back to Genesis chapter 4 and verse number 26. It reads, and to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. Now, this part where it says, then began men to call upon, or then began men to call upon the name of Yahweh, men already knew the name of the Most High, right? Adam knew the name of the Most High. Remember Eve, even she knew the name of the Most High. Remember, even in the previous or early in this chapter, what did she say? Genesis 4:1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from Yahweh. So she knew the name of Yahweh. Adam knew the sacrifices that he did and Abel did were to Yahweh. So why does it say, then began men to call upon the name of Yahweh? Because this is the beginning of the separation between the righteous and the wicked. Right? Remember, during this time, you had cities that were built. You had Enoch, which was a city that was built by Cain. You had men that dwelt in that city. You had nothing but wickedness in the earth. But at this same time, you have a set apart men, the sons of God. Now they're calling upon the name of Yahweh, right? They're calling upon the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. right? That's what it means. So let's go to Psalms chapter 116. Let's get a quick precept for this. And then begin men to call upon the name of Yahweh, right? And why do you call upon the name of Yahweh? Through prayer, when you come together, when you sacrifice, when you worship the Most High, right? So a lot of things in Genesis are written in a broad manner, and there's a lot of extrapolation that you have to use in the book of Genesis because the Most High makes it so broad. You know, really, the book of Genesis details everything that's happening now, right? You read about Adam being chosen. It's just like us in these last days. Adam was chosen, Adam went off, Adam repented, right? Just like us. Adam followed the ways of the other nations. It's a repeating account. There's no new thing under the sun, right? So these are the days now. These are the days of Genesis 4 and 26. Then began men to call upon the name of Yahweh because we're setting ourselves apart from the world. Then begin men to call upon the name of Yahweh because we're keeping the Passover. We just kept the Feast of Tabernacles. We don't break the Sabbath. We're not into sodomy and freakism. These are the days when men are beginning to call upon the name of Yahweh. No new thing under the sun. So during that time, that's what was going on. They were separating themselves from the ways of the other men at that time. Right? So let's go. I had a precept I wanted. Psalms 116 and verse number 17. Right? It reads, I will offer to thee the sacrifice of thanksgiving and will call upon the name of Yahweh. I will pay my vows unto Yahweh, Ba'ashmi Abishai, now in the midst of all his people. So what are they doing when they're calling upon the name of the Lord? Are they just saying Yahweh and they just go back to being wicked? No, they're doing sacrifices. We read that they're paying vows in the presence of all his people. So all of the sons of God were coming together. They were doing sacrifices, praising the Most High. That's what it means to call upon the name of the Lord. Right? You could literally call upon the name of the Most High, but it's often coupled with actions. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 12. Right? It's like Isaiah chapter 12 and verse number 3. It reads, behold, the Most High is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. For the Lord Yahweh is my strength and my song. He also is become my salvation. Therefore, with joy shall ye draw water out of the wells of salvation. And in that day shall ye say, praise Yahweh, call upon his name, declare his doings among the people, and make mention that his name is exalted. So all this happens when you call upon the name of the Lord. You're praising the Most High through song, through dance, through sacrifices, through fasting, through solemn assemblies. And also when you call upon the name of the Most High, what comes with that? Declaring his doings, talking of his works, make mention of his name. And the sons of God, they were prophets. They were prophets. Tells you that. I'm going to get that Most High willing in Tobit, the 4th chapter, that we are the children of the prophets. They were declaring his doings amongst the people. But the people weren't listening. They weren't listening to Enoch. He was the 7th from Adam. They didn't listen to Noah. So just like now, these are the days when men begin to call upon Yahweh. That's what Genesis chapter 4 and 26 means. It doesn't mean that they were screaming the name of the Most High and committing wickedness at the same time. They were declaring his doings. They were offering sacrifices. They were paying their vows, and they would make mention that his name is exalted in the land that was full of corruption and lewdness. Isaiah chapter 12 and 5. Sing unto the Lord, for he had done excellent things. This is known in all the earth. Right? So this also is what the sons of God were doing. You know, when you go to, let me get a quick precept to get further on what the sons of God were doing at this time. Remember, you read about this First Kings chapter, it's like your First Samuel, chapter 10 and 5. Here it is. And after that, thou shalt come to the hill of God, where is the garrison of the Philistines? And it shall come to pass, when thou art come thither to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place with the psaltery and a tabret and a pipe and a harp before them, and they shall prophesy. So you've always had these prophets and these sons of God, these men in the age of apostasy and wickedness who banded together. It was like that during the days of Saul, when everybody was going to hell off, man. And one of the king and was freaking off and serving other gods and dealing with the Canaanites. The company of prophets, they weren't like everybody else. They hung amongst each other. That's what modern day camps are, congregations. They're companies of prophets. They primarily deal with one another. There's another precept I wanted. Oh, 2 Kings. Let me get this real quick. All right. 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse number 1. It reads, and the sons of the prophets said unto Elisha, behold, now the place where we dwell with thee is too strait for us. So during the days of wickedness too, you had the sons of the prophets. They had their own communities. They had their own dwelling places. They had their own buildings. That's what they're saying, right? They're saying where we live at, it's not enough room for us. We need more room. We need to make another home because they lived amongst each other. So surely brothers understand what was going on in Genesis chapter 4 and 26, right? Let's read it again. So again, a lot of things in Genesis, for edification's sakes, they're written in a broad fashion, in a broad manner. But through the precepts and through the Spirit, you understand that this has happened over and over and over again, and it's happening now. This is happening now. So let's read it one more time. Genesis chapter 4 and 26. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of Yahweh. So now we know what this means, right? They set apart themselves to serve the Most High in an age of corruption and wickedness that was being put forth by Cain, his sons, and all of the madness that was going on at that time. Let's go to the 5th chapter. So we're going to read a little bit more about the sons of God, right? And we're going to touch on these demons that caused the flood, right? Genesis chapter 5 and 1. This is the book of the generations of Adam, and the day that the Most High created man, and the likeness of the Most High made he him. So this is the records, right? The records, the accounts of the generations of Adam, his lineage, his accounts, who's who, how they lived, who did they come from, what did they do, how they were made, and what their purpose is. Verse number 2, male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. So most of you brothers, you already knew this, but for newer brothers and sisters, everybody at the earth, their name was called Adam, right? That's why there's a term. I mean, we don't use it often, or we don't use it, but Adamites is a term that you'll hear out there because everybody was called Adam at that time, right? Now, Adam goes back to the Hebrew word Adama, which means from the ground or from the earth. So everybody that was created, they were all created from the dust of the ground on a literal level. Now, Adam was created from the dust of the ground on a literal and spiritual level, the chosen Adam, because he was given the breath of life, which is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right? Let's read on. Genesis chapter 5 and 3. And Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness after his image and called his name Seth. So after his own likeness, meaning, he looked just like Adam. He had shoulder, head, knees, toes, whatever, he had the similitude of man, but his image, he was also made after his image. All of the sons of God that I read about in Genesis 4, where men began to call upon the name of the Lord, they were made after the image of Adam. The image is not a physical thing. The image is spiritual. The image is spiritual. The likeness is physical. The image is spiritual. Right? Let's get a quick precept for the image. What does it mean, Seth You should know, we read it. He was made righteous, right? Let's get a precept for that. Romans 8. Let's get that. I believe that's 29. Romans chapter 8, and verse number 29. A quick precept for the image. Romans 8 and 29. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. So what this verse is saying is that there are certain spirits that the elect, that the Most High created. And he foreknew that those spirits were going to be born in the last days. And he also knew that those spirits would be made righteous. They were created to be righteous. You were predestinated. Your destiny, your path was already predetermined by God, and there's nothing that you can do or have done or will do to influence that. It's already set in stone. Your relationships, right? Your marriage, your children, men that you know, encounters, traumas, the good, the bad, the ugly, all those things were set up by the Most High to make you who you are today. You've been in His truth. More importantly, you were predestinated to be conformed to the image of His Son. So you were made to be like Yahushua, to be righteous, to be able to keep the law, to be able to be obedient to the Father, to do the will of the Most High. And that's nothing, your flesh can't do that. Only the Spirit can. Right? So you were, that image is spiritual. So when Seth was made in Adam's image, he was made with the ability to be upright and keep the law. All right, let's go back to this in Genesis chapter 5 and verse 4. And after, Slakia, in the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years, and they begat sons and daughters. And I said that earlier. Adam had more than just, Cain and Abel and Seth. He had many sons. Doesn't say, well, how many did he have? Was it 20? Is it 50? Really, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All that matters is he begat sons and daughters. The Most High tells you what matters. Now, were all his sons righteous? It doesn't say. But it does tell you that Seth was righteous. Didn't Abraham have many sons? Didn't he have the 6 sons of Keturah and Ishmael and Isaac? But who was chosen? Who was righteous? Isaac was. So as you go through the lineage of the sons of God, you read about all these sons, but the Most High, he sets that one son apart. Genesis 5 and 5. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos. And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. So I'm not going to read this whole account, but these are the sons of God. When you read Genesis chapter 5, verses 3 to really to 30, these are all the sons of God that you're reading about. All right, so all of the men that came out of Seth, Enos, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, or it's like Methuselah, Enoch, right? Lamech and Noah, all of those are the sons of God. Let's go to Luke chapter 3 and 37. Right? How do you know that? Let's go to Luke 3 and 37. So no, it's not, Genesis 6 is not talking about angels. It's not talking about angels. It doesn't say angels. Never said angels. Luke chapter 3 and 37. Which was the son of Methuselah, which was the son of Enoch, which was the son of Jared, which was the son of Mahalalel, which was the son of Canaan, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of God. So Adam was the son of God, and all of those men that came out of him, those are the sons of God. Here's the lineage. Here's the lineage. These men that came out of Seth on down, those are the sons of God. These men on the left, those men on the right are the sons of God. The men on the left are the sons of the wicked. The sons of the wicked. And then you had other men on the earth that didn't come out of this Adam. Those are the sons of men or the children of men. Remember, you didn't have Moabites at this time. You didn't even have an Edomite. Esau wasn't around, man. I ain't no Edomites. You ain't had no Ishmaelites. You didn't have the 18 nations. You had the sons of God. You had the sons of the wicked. And you had the sons of men. Right? And that was that. That was that. Now, quick precept. Let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Genesis real quick. Genesis chapter 11. Quick precept on that. Genesis chapter 11 and verse number 5. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower. Slakia. Which the children of men builded. So who built this? The children of men. How come it didn't say the sons of God? Because the sons of God had nothing to do with this. It had no part in building this. Only the children of men did. During this time, you had Peleg. It tells you in Genesis that in his days the earth was divided. You had Joktan, you had Eber, you had all these men. But the children of men were the men that were with Nimrod, the heathen. Those are the children of men. They built their own respective city. Right? So you read about the children of men throughout the Bible, and they are completely contrary to the children of God. Psalms chapter 11 and verse number 4. Yahweh is in his holy temple. Yahweh's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. All right. So the Lord sent angels to try you, test you, put spirits on the earth, record your acts. Those are the children of men. Right. Let's go to 1 John chapter 3. Right. This is 1 John chapter 3 and verse number 10. In this, the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother. So you got the children of men, you got the children of God, and you have the children of the devil. That was everybody on the earth at that time. Right? That was everybody on the earth. The children of God, the children of men, and the children of the devil. The children of the devil were chiefly the men that came out of Cain and his son Enoch on the left-hand side. Right? Tubal Cain, Jubal, all those men, those are the children of the devil. Right? Reading on 1 John 3 and 11. For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. So that was the law. Everybody knew that from the beginning. Adam knew that. Seth knew that. Even Cain knew that. Verse number 12. Not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? Because his own works were evil, and his brother's righteous. So Cain was of the wicked one. He was of Satan. Right? They are the children of the devil, straight up and down. And he murdered his brother because his brother was more righteous than he. And that demon inside of him couldn't stand to be around them righteous spirits and righteous man Abel. Right? Straight up and down. So again, this is that genealogy. The sons of God on the right, or the children of God, the children of the devil on the left. And if you weren't out of these genealogies, if you wasn't from Cain or Seth, then you were the children of men, the sons of men. Let's go to Genesis 6 again. Right? We're going to touch on these demons that caused the flood. Genesis chapter 6 and verse number 2. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and took them wives of all which they chose. So now you know who these sons of God are. It's not talking about angels. Yes, angels can be called sons of God. You read about that in Job, the first chapter, Job, the second chapter. But you have to understand that there's a balance. There's a celestial sons of God, all of the angels, right? Michael, Uriel, and all these spirits. Even Satan is one of the sons of God. And then you have a terrestrial sons of God. The terrestrial, the earthly sons of God are the men that I just read about. Even us in these last days, we are the sons of God. The only time you read about, or the only reason, I'll put it like this, the only reason that people believe that Genesis chapter 6 and 2 is talking about angels is because of the book of Enoch. And the book of Enoch is trash. It's garbage. Swine's food, bird food. It's madness and it's folly. So if you're reading the book of Enoch, there's only one thing for you to do with that. And that's burn it. Right? Utterly burn it. Right? So, and they tell you, man, they tell you that these angels came down and made an oath and they said, we're going to look at that woman. The angels don't get they don't get hot and heavy, man. They're not up there lusting. Damn, I wonder. They're not having thoughts. They don't catcall in the third heaven. Hey, yo, sis, with the head wrap. They don't do that, man. With the unleavened bread. They don't get unclean. They have dreams that chance them by night. Then the angel, I'm unclean. I can't appear before the Most High. And then the Most High said, well, where is that angel at? And the other angel told him, well, he's unclean because, and the Most High told that angel, well, what would you do? You dealing with something. And the angel said, okay, confess my fault. I'm dealing with lust. That sister down there back in that got off that ark, she's good. And I want to deal with her. And the Most High said, no, well, you can't deal with her, that you're an angel. But then the angel said, well, I have feelings too. But they don't have these conversations, man. You don't have the angel saying, well, I have feelings too with the Most High, man. Let me get a quick precept in Luke. Right? Let me get this in Luke. I believe that's Luke Matthew, the 22nd chapter. Right? Let me get that Matthew chapter 22. Damn, the angel, I got feelings too. That's madness, man. Right? That's utter madness. This is Matthew chapter 22 and verse 30. For in the resurrection, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. So the angels, they don't die, right? The angels don't sit down and, okay, well, what am I going to do? And, this brother, let me deal with this. They don't have flesh. Right? They don't have flesh. Let's go to Luke 24 and 39. Hey, man, an angel, I'm going to just put it out there. And I said this before because the brother might not get it. An angel don't get an erection, man. I just got to say it like that, man. So a brother can understand. The Most High, they don't have blood. They don't sprain their ankle. They don't get a headache. They don't catch a cold. They don't get hot and they start sweating. Oh, it's hot. And an angel, they got a fan that's too hot in the earth. And no, this is Luke chapter 24 and 39. Here's what Yahushua said. Behold, my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones as ye see me have. So that's straight up and down. The angels are spirits. Let's prove that. The angels are spirits. And Yahushua said that a spirit have not flesh and bones. Right? So that's plain. That's plain. Quick precept on angels being spirits. It's like I want Hebrews. Right? Hebrews chapter 1. Hebrews chapter 1 and verse number 13. But to which of the angels said he at any time, sit on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool, right? The Lord never said that to the angels. He said that to Yahushua. Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation? So the angels, their job is to serve the elect primarily, right? To protect, serve, guide, increase the elect. So this Genesis 6, these sons of God, these are speaking about that lineage that that we read about. What did they do? They saw the daughters of men. The daughters of men are the other nations that were there, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose, and they went off. They went off. Straight up and down, they went off. How do you know they went off? Because the Most High tell you in verse 3, he was pissed. He was hot, man. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man. So if those were angels, why is the Most High getting mad at man? That shows you that he's not, this previous verse has nothing to do with angels. He said, I'm mad at man. That's the sons of God. My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, right? Not a spirit, he's flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years, right? So the Most High is mad at man. Which men? Chiefly the sons of God. Why? Because they were dealing with the women of the other nations. This is one of the main reasons of why the Most High caused the flood. One of the main reasons, and there were other reasons. You had wickedness and murder, but we're touching on the sons of God. One of the main reasons of the flood was the pollution of the lineage and the apostasy and rebellion of the sons of God, and them deciding to deal with the women of the other nations instead of dealing with the daughters of God, right? The daughters of God, and that's nothing new, right? That's nothing new. You see that all throughout the Bible, right? You see that all throughout the Bible. Let's go to the classic and Ecclesiasticus, right? So it's very important. The Most High is not playing, man, right? The Most High, you may think in this today's society that it's a light matter, right? You might see interracial couples, and this man dealt with this woman, and back in that day, the Most High strictly told the sons of God, you have to deal with your own people. You have to deal with your own people. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 and verse number 19. My son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. Right. So you want to make sure that your lineage, your stock remains pure. If you get a son for your daughter, that son better be an Israelite. If you bring a daughter to your son, she better be an Israelite. Don't give your strength unto strangers. You see that going on now with these Edomite celebrity women. Some of these women are just downright just trash, man. That Jake be dealing with. Jake always getting these poor Edomite women pregnant, man. These Edomite women, you don't even know their name. They have no skills. They have no accomplishments. They have no endeavors. And the only reason you know their name is when they get 50% of this number one athlete's damn divorce money, man. So, Jake, you give your wealth, your finances, you even pollute your genealogy, your lineage, your inheritance. You got this heathen woman kind of dictating what your son could do, man. Do not give your strength to strangers. Ain't no love is love. You know? She know me. What the hell can you and a Edomite woman talk about, man? All that small talk, eventually you're going to have big talk, man. About, she can't understand when you came in from the plantation and you getting oppressed by the so-called white man. What the hell is she going to say to you, man? Jeez, that must hurt. Well, maybe if you weren't so, maybe you should really not be so aggressive. Maybe you should shave your beard. Maybe you should go to the holiday party. And that small talk gonna go out the window with these heathen, man. You have to have big talk, you know. And when you down bad, she gonna have to hold it down. She gonna have to help you get some money, man. Come up with some plans. Hey, look, maybe we should do this. You know, think about this. You know, hey, look, let's put our money together. Hey, look, you know, let's do this. You're gonna have to have a woman that got some sense, man. These other nations women, they don't have no damn sense. So don't give your strength to strangers. Verse 20. But what we're going into, that was given to Adam. Why do you think Adam's wife was of his own stock and lineage? Let me get that real quick in Genesis, the 2nd chapter. Adam had a wife of his own stock and his lineage. So one of the main demons that caused the flood was the same demons that are on the earth today: lust, concupiscence, lasciviousness, pride, rebellion. Those are demons that were working on the sons of God. And the Most High had to flood the entire earth, right? Because of those men and their inability to rebuke those demons. And the Most High sent those demons. It's not as if those demons came and they, we're going to do this, we're going to teach man this. And no. But those are the demons that caused the flood. Those are the demons that are going to cause the flood by fire in these last days. Right? Now, let me prove this. This is Genesis chapter 2 and verse number 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. So we went into this before, but one of his ribs that he took was one of Adam's near kinswoman. Now, it doesn't say how close she was to Adam. She could have been his first cousin. Could have been his second cousin. You know, it doesn't say. But Adam had a wife of his own stock and lineage. Let's get that in quick precept. 2 Samuel, right? All right, I went over this in a minute. This 2 Samuel chapter 5 and verse number 1. Here's the precept to let you know that when Genesis 2 said that the Lord took the rib of Adam, it means he took a wife of his own nation. Your rib, your bone, that's hip talk. It's slang. It's a metaphor for the people of your own nation. 2 Samuel chapter 5 and 1. Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron and spake, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. So we're your bone and we are thy flesh. Same thing that Jake said, man. That's my brother from another mother. That's my blood brother. Jake, you call things, that's my seed. That's my rib. Jake, you call your woman your rib because it's from the scriptures. That's my rib. And like they say, your rib actually protects your heart, man. On what is that? A physiological level, right? Your rib, protects your heart. Just like a woman is supposed to be a tower of defense for her husband, for his mind, right? So when you go to that in Genesis 2, the Lord took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. So the Lord they laid down together. That's what it means. It's all hip talk. The Lord didn't perform a surgery. Anybody that's thinking that the Most High performed a surgery, then you're sadly mistaken. He didn't have a scalpel, anesthesia, a nurse angel. No, this was all in the spirit. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. You see that? So that shows that woman that he brought to Adam was his wife, but the Lord called it his rib. Let's go to Tobit chapter 4 real quick. I'm going to hold that. Tobit chapter 4. Let's get a quick precept on this. Tobit chapter 4 and verse number 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son. This is what Tobit told his son Tobias, right? This is what he told him. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. So we're the children of the prophets, man. Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they all had wives of their own kindred. Noah had a wife of his own kindred. His father Lamech, his father Methuselah, his father Enoch, his father Jared. All of those men had wives of their own kindred. Verse number 13. Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want, for lewdness is the mother of famine. And all these spirits were on the sons of God, all these demons. Pride. They knew what they were supposed to do, man. And when they were dealing with these women, the daughters of men, it's not just on an intimate level. When you deal with the women, the daughters of men, you're also eating of their food sacrificed to their gods, right? They got damn sex magic and feasts dedicated to freakism and lewdness and cuttings of the flesh and drinking blood and going into temples and sacrificing the animals and learning their language and their gestures and all of those things. Just being lewd. Let me pull that up. What does it mean to be lewd? Lewd definition. Crude and offensive in a sexual way. Vulgar, smutty, filthy, obscene, right? Evil, worthless. All right, they got some other words up here. Unseemly, gross, wicked. What else they got? Taboo, vile, right? All these things is lewdness. And you got a lot of brothers in the truth, they deal with lewdness, man. You got brothers that they struggle with these same demons that caused the flood. You got brothers that deal with pornography demons, man. Some people are addicted. Wake up, go to sleep, throughout the day, at work, just lewd. Tabs and sites and freakism and hey, that's a demon. Pornography is a demon, man. It destroys your mind, destroys your attention span. It desensitizes you. Some brothers don't even want to deal with a woman because a woman ain't enough. They're so into that internet, so into that lewdness. They're so into this just cesspool of demonic freakism. A regular woman ain't enough for them. They can't deal with her. They can't talk to a woman. You know, they can't do things, man. I'll just leave it at that. Because they've been desensitized. Same thing with women, man. So these are demons. Lewdness is a demon. You got to know how to fight these demons in these last days. You got to do what the sons of God didn't do. The sons of God let pride and lewdness destroy them. And that was one of the chief reasons why the Most High flooded the entire earth. Because of the sons of God, man. God forbid, man, that you are in the same spirit as the men who caused the flood. Those demons. No lewdness, right? No lewdness, crude and offensive in a sexual way, right? Let's get another quick precept. Then I'm gonna go back to Genesis, the 6th chapter, right? Let's go to the book of, let's see what I want to go to. Well, there's a lot. Let's go to Mark 7, right? Mark 7 and verse number 21. It reads, this is what Yahushua said. Mark 7 and 21. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries. These are all of the things that you think about, right? Adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within and defile the man. Now, I want to touch on this word lasciviousness. All right. Lasciviousness is also a demon, that lascivious demon. Right? Lasciviousness is the state or quality of being unrestrainedly lustful, lecherous, or excessively sensual. That's a vile, nasty demon, man. And that was on the sons of God. Listen, just you got people that, I mean, you got people that are just vile, man. Some people are off. Some people be undressing people with their eyes, man. Some people be fantasizing, they have loot. You might be talking to somebody dead in their eyes about something serious, and you don't, and this demon is sitting up there fantasizing about you, man. What'd you say? Right? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, huh? I didn't catch that. Because they thinking about lewdness, man. You don't know what these heathen and these people, these women, even these men, man. So if you're one of the sons of God and you're dealing with lasciviousness, this is what this new moon is about, changing. This new moon, we read earlier, one of the first precepts, increasing wonderfully, and you're changing. This is where fasting comes in, being around brothers, meditation. You got to discipline your thoughts. This is a lascivious society. Everything's sexual. Everything's hypersexual. Everything's hypersexualized. Cartoons now, they're telling people don't have your children watch Netflix because everything's about hypersexualization, if that's a word. They say don't put your children on Roblox, the video game thing, because there's nothing but child molesters and sexual things on there, man. You could be scrolling on social media and you can have just wickedness pop up on your screen. You can be sitting up there, you going through the precepts, or you're looking at brother's story, whatever, and then all hell just break loose. If you give in to that demon, you staring, you looking, you bookmarking, or I don't even know, or saving it, screenshotting, downloading. What else? I don't know. Sharing the link, man. Hey, bro. Hey, what do you think about this? That's lasciviousness. You have to restrain yourself, man. You got to restrain yourself, brothers and sisters. This ain't just brothers, you sisters. You're not exempt. There's no precept where it says with a woman of Israel, they do not deal with these demons either. It involves wantonness and a tendency to excite sexual desires. And you brothers, you can't be exciting just any old sexual desire, man. Going off, which can manifest through behavior, words, or other actions. And some people, man, they just have nasty talk. You be at the workplace, even Jake, man. Jake, you work with Jake, man. Jake only talk about say only two things, man. Straight up and down, they talk about sports and women. And when they shift from sports to women, it's nothing but a vulgar lust. And you brothers, you start getting into those conversations, man. Separate yourself, man. You don't have to say nothing. Stop getting pressured into lewd conversations. It's all right to say I don't want to talk about that, man. Y'all got it. Have some confidence, man. Some boldness. One of them old head Jake show you something on his phone. What you think about her right there? You sit there, huh? I don't know. Let me see another picture. Ain't no. Let me see another picture, man. And I don't want to see that. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good out now. So you gotta learn even with your words, man. Your behavior. You got brothers they be especially in these warehouses, man. Jake, you be freaking off with these women in these warehouses, man. In the break room, you know, safety vest and you know, all types of lewdness. So let's read on. It reads examples of lascivious behavior include flirting. See that flirting, man. Right? That flirting. And that flirting can be dangerous. Eye contact could be dangerous. Right? Somebody look at you a certain kind of way, man. You look at them, and that's all it take. Them damn licking the lips and the flirting and the sticking the tongue out and batting the eyes. Sexual innuendo. Right? Pornography, immodest clothing, and unchaste handling of others. These are spirits. Yahushua spoke of lasciviousness, man. He spoke of this. He spoke of this. Right? Let's go to the book of Nehemiah, the classic, right? Nehemiah chapter 13 and 25. It reads, and I contended with them. And I'm going to start at 23. Nehemiah 13 and 23. So you brothers, man, you got to discipline yourself. And I believe I saw a brother on there. Stop looking. I mean, that's a damn demon. Stop clicking. Stop clicking those damn liking those reels, man. That show lewdness and lust. Brother said that go to your algorithm. Even if you sit there and watch it, you sit there watching for 30 minutes, it'll you get 5 more videos. You know a lot about a brother if you go to his Instagram and look at that search bar. You know a lot about a brother, man. Because that search bar is essentially just everything who you are. If you click a brother's search bar and it's nothing but just freakism, and brother, hey, you gotta check that brother, man. If a brother say, nah, I don't want to show you, you gotta check that brother too. Nah, I'm good. You know, you try to clean it up. Brother said you gotta click that not interested button or block or whatever they have. So Nehemiah 13 and 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. And if you, the Most High sees you, if you're not fighting that demon and you're just willfully just, you know, getting into it, the Most High, he's going to give you over to that. He's going to give you over to your own lust. And you're going to fall. Right? So Nehemiah saw the Jews that was marrying Philistine women, Japanese women, Chinese women. Right? Verse 24. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. So they couldn't even speak the Hebrew, man. Their children was learning the language of them women, man. And you know, it was more than that. They were learning their customs, their gods, dressing like them, all types of madness. And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by the Most High, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons or for yourselves. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God. And the Most High made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. Right? You don't want to be dealing with outlandish women. What does outlandish mean? Let's pull that up. Right? We get into these words. Outlandish. Unfamiliar, foreign, alien, freakish. Right? Freakish, far out, grotesque. That's how the Most High compares these women. Foreign or alien, strange. Foreign and strange. Right? So again, these are demons that the men of antiquity were dealing with, man. Right? They were dealing with these spirits. There's another word. Let's go to Colossians, the 3rd chapter. Right? Let's go to Colossians chapter 3. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Awashai. Right? Let's go to Colossians, the 3rd chapter. I want verse number 5. Right? Colossians chapter 3 and 5. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth. Fornication. Right? So fornication is any sexual immoral act, right? Adultery, bestiality, ancestral relationships, sodomy, right? All of those are forms of fornication. Just outright, just lewd, whoredom, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. Now here's the point. For which thing's sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience. So the Most High could destroy you, man. This happened in Genesis 6. They didn't mortify their members. There was a time in Genesis 4 that we read that then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. There was a time when those men set apart themselves, when they called on the name of the Most High, when they did the offerings, and then men started to fall away. These are the days when men are beginning to fall away through philosophies, which are likened unto women, doctrines. Brothers could be dealing with lasciviousness about a doctrine, because women are likened unto doctrines, because they can allure you or entice you. Or even, wisdom is a woman that can comfort you with her breasts and through her love, through her passion. So even philosophies and doctrines are likened unto women. So the word I want to deal with that brings the wrath of God upon men is evil concupiscence. Right? Let's pull up concupiscence. All right. Let's see. Let me just do, I don't want evil. I just want concupiscence. Strong sexual desire, lust. Right? Sexual appetite, sexual longing, sex, libido, passion. Right? You don't want to deal with concupiscence. Right? You're dealing with prostitutes. You gotta just get off by any means. You're dealing with lewd sites, lewd women. You're trying to deal with every woman at your workplace. You got brothers like that. You're trying to deal with every woman at your damn workplace, man. Every woman in your damn neighborhood. Those are demons. Lasciviousness, concupiscence, lewdness. Let's go to Sirach chapter 18 to 30. Right? And again, this is a very, very hypersexual society, man. They even got video games. I remember I was a kid. They got video games. They had what was that fight? They had them fighting video games, man. I don't know if it was dead or was it dead or alive? Tekken, whatever. They had them video games. They be having a woman with no damn clothes on in the video games, man. Them Moabites and them Japanese video games, they always got some woman, some promiscuous, lewd woman on there. The video games was like that growing up, man. I don't even know what's on the video games now that people play. It's probably 10 times worse. TV, social media. This is a very hyper. The songs are all about lewdness and sex and freakism. People got spirits on them. People are looking to commit adultery. Be mindful of all these demons. You'll be at the harbor and you got people walking by with literally no clothes on. Literally no clothes. It was a woman. She had zero clothes on. So these are spirits. These are spirits on the earth in the last days. Yeah, that was a person, but these are actual spirits. Right? I want Ecclesiastes chapter 18. Right? Ecclesiastes chapter 18 and verse number 30. Go not after thy lust, but refrain thyself from thine appetite. Right? Actually, I want to read the next verse in this. Right? So right, 18 and 30. 1. If thou givest thy soul the desires that please her, she will make thee a laughing stock to thine enemies that malign thee. So don't go after your lust. You don't have to go everything that look good. You don't have to go every woman that looked at you, that batted their eyelids, that tried to flirt with you. You don't have to go after every sight. You got brother to have no discipline. Pray for discipline. Discipline your body, man. Discipline your thoughts. There are prayers that go into that. Ecclesiastes chapter 23 goes into that. Oh Lord, Father, God of my life, right? And the Most High goes into a whole prayer, man. Who has set scourges over my thoughts and the discipline of wisdom over my heart, that they spare me not for my ignorances in the past, not by my sins. You can read that prayer. The Lord said, I believe in Psalms 19, let the words of thy mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. So you want to have your thoughts be acceptable in the sight of the Most High. You don't want the Most High to be looking at your thoughts and all you're thinking about is just lewdness in the world. Because the Most High tap into your reins. He tapped deep into your spirit. You see who you really are and what do you think about. And you got to fight those demons. Go not after thy lust, but refrain thyself from thine appetite. If thou givest thy soul the desires that please her, she will make thee a laughing stock to thine enemies that malign thee. Right? So this goes into what? Having some self-constraint. Right? Let's pull that word up. Let me get a few more. We'll do self-control. The ability to control one's emotions and desires, especially it's like in difficult situations. And it takes a strong man to have self-control. To tell a woman, no. Right? It takes a strong man to hit that, what the brother say, not interested button or that block button. Self-control. The inability to have self-control is one of the reasons on how the sons of God got caught up in that madness. And everybody died but Noah. Everybody died but Noah, Noah's wife, Shem, his wife, Japheth, his wife, and Ham and his wife, respectively. Everybody else died because they didn't have self-control. And all those sons of God that we read about, them sons that was born of Adam and the sons that was born of Enos, the sons that was born of this man and that man, they all died. And a lot of those men, they were dealing with those women of those other nations, man. because they let these demons take root in them. Lust, concupiscence, lewdness, lasciviousness. Those are four major demons that the Most High sent in the days of the sons of God to try them. And they fell victim by that, and they took the daughters of men. Right? Let's go to Numbers 25. Let's kind of see what happens when you're dealing with these daughters of men. Numbers chapter 25 and verse number 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with their daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. So you dealing with these women, you're going to be bowing down to their gods too, man. God, Jake, no, I'm strong. I'm going to still serve Yahweh. I'm going to deal with this Moabite woman and this Edomite woman, this Elamite woman, this Hamite woman, and I'm going to bring them to the truth. I'm going to bring them to the Most High. You got men that think like that. She can still serve the Most High. That's my Ruth. That's my little Ruth. Right? Brother, what are you talking about, brother? I'm Boaz. That's Ruth. See, I'm Moses, and that's my Ethiopian woman. Right? I'm going to bring her to the knowledge of the Most High. She's going to be cooking. She's going to be doing this. She's going to be doing that. Okay, brother. You tempting the spirit. And you're going off. The Lord said, be not unequally yoked with unbelievers. The Lord said, thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together, paraphrasing. The ox is so strong, he's going to pull an ass astray. Those women and their demons, they're stronger to serve wickedness than you are to serve righteousness. Them lust and them spirits, those are strong spirits. That woman's going to have you doing things, you're going to be out of your mind. Trying to please the flesh. You're going to be doing things that you thought you'll never do. You're going to be eating their food, learning their language, speaking, doing their hand gestures. They're going to build you up. They're going to build you up. Next thing you know, you're getting built up to the temple. Drop me off at the temple to my God. And just come on in for a quick second. Just stand outside. Now you're standing outside. It's cold out there. Isn't it? Just come inside. Now you're coming inside, man. Here, hold this. Now you're holding the bowl. What is this bowl? Here, just pour it right here. Just pour it over this right here. Right? Hold on. Pour it like this. Okay, well, like this. And yeah, good job. Then everybody in the damn temple clapping, man. And they put a big red dot on your forehead, man. And lift you up. And they start damn glorifying you, man. As you poured the final offering to Satan. So in Numbers 25, they were going the hell off. They was bowing down to these gods and these sacrifices, man. We'll read that again. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. Numbers 25 and 3. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor. So it's not even you just joining to the heathen, you're joining to their gods. Hey, I brought up that example a lot before. You had that dude, that rapper, Jeezy. He was dealing with that Chinese woman, that Moabite woman. And that Moabite woman, he did an interview. He was saying that she had them doing things that were unspeakable. Jeezy and Chinese woman. What's that Chinese woman name? Right? She had him going off, man. She had him going off. Now, I believe that, they're not together or whatever. Hey, but when you read about, I'm not going to go into detail, but there were things that they were doing, even from an intimate level, that they came out and said that is completely against the spirit of Jake. Against the spirit of Jake. Dealing with a Moabite woman. The hell are you and the Moabite woman going to talk about, man? How long is that conversation going to last, man? She ain't going to be able to cook that food the way you want it, man. She ain't going to be able to comfort you the way you need to be comforted. She ain't going to be able, it's not in her spirit to serve the Most High like it is in your spirit to serve the Most High. The Israelite woman, she has at least, even, we're all going off, but even in her mind, she has a conscience. She has some type of moral compass to know about the Lord. These women, they have no spirit of the Most High. They have no spirit of the Most High, man. So Jake be dealing with all types of women, man. You got this guy, let me pull this guy up. What's this guy name? Robert Griffin, right? And his wife, man, he got an Edomite woman. Look at this guy. Look at this. And they always get, not that there's anybody better, but they always get the worst, right? Jake, you always get low, trashed out, bagged out Edomite women, man. Look at this. And an Edomite woman is nothing, man. She's a nobody. Nobody knew who this woman was, man. Like I said, they have no achievements. They have no accolades. They're nothing. It's probably sitting up there working at damn Shake Shack in grad school, ready to graduate and not get a job. Working at some damn restaurant, man, being a waitress. But look at Jake. Look how happy he is. He's so happy. Look at this. They got 5 children now. Now, his children are Israelites. But, I mean, that's an Edomite, man. Imagine her hygiene, their uncleanness. I couldn't even imagine living with an Edomite woman. How much training, coaching, instructions, guidance, cooking, it'd just be madness. Look at this. Right? It'd be madness, man. This is what we're reading about. This is lust. Because, Jake, you can't be in love with a white woman. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is despicable. This is what being with a Edomite woman got you doing, man. I can't even comment on that, man. He eating more than her. This is what being with the so-called white women got you doing, man. Oh, just do it. It'll be funny. We'll laugh about it. You're going to be bowing down to their gods, man. You're going to be going off. I can't think of any other. I only know those 2. I don't know all the Jakes and all of the different women they got. But Jake, you got these heathen women, man. Right? So let's go back to this in Numbers 25:3. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor. So you really join yourself to the spirit that they're in. Right? That picture is wild, right? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. Right? So it was always frowned upon for the sons of God to be falling in love with the daughters of men. Now you have laws and, you have certain situations where the Most High accepts that. You took a woman captive, or you went to war. Numbers 31, the Lord said, take the Midianite woman children alive, man. You're going to lay, they're going to grow up, you're going to lay with them, and you're going to have children with them, straight up and down. And you have certain accounts The Lord said, don't deal with any Canaanite woman. You had accounts with Jake deal with them heathen women. You know, Boaz, he dealt with Ruth and all of that. But in these days we in, it is not expedient for brothers to be going after your lust, man. You're gonna go off. This ain't the place or the time. You're going to be going off. Let's go to Ezra chapter 9 and 3. Right? Ezra chapter 9 and 3. Imagine marrying an African, man, a Hamite. We're complete. We're clean. We have common sense. You know, we're a people of glory and a people of honor. When you're dealing with a heathen, and you're dealing with these women of these other nations, even Eve, man. I saw this Eve woman, this Edomite had her eating raw meat, man. Let me see. I don't know if I can find it. I'm not going to be able to find it. Let's see if I can find it. Right? White man makes black woman eat raw ground beef. Right? See, I don't want to click. I don't want to click images. You know? Look at this. There have been multiple viral videos and social media posts featuring women, some of whom are black, voluntarily eating ground beef. But there was one video you had an Edomite making her do it. I don't know if you brothers seen that or not. Right? But you had this Eve. She was sitting at the table, and it's this this is her. Yeah, this is it right here. Look at this. I think this is it. Yeah, white girl having black girl eat a German dish as raw meat. This is it, man. And she got a hair wrap on, you know? And it's this Edomite talking about eat this, man. This is what I eat, growing up, and it's nothing but raw meat. So even you Eves, man, you sisters, you dealing with these other nations, they gonna have you going the hell off, man. Right? They're gonna have you going off. Ezra chapter 9, where I'm at. All right, Ezra chapter 9 and verse number, let's start at 1. Now, when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers have been chief in his trespass. So you have holy seed. I mean, straight up and down, man. The Lord is displeased when your holy seed is mingled with the daughters of the people of those lands, chiefly at that time. And really in this time, because I always say we're in the same time of Ezra and Nehemiah. We're in the time of building a temple, laying a foundation, building the walls. Right? To everything there's a season and a time and purpose for every work under heaven. So the chief men were going off. Verse number 3. And when I heard this thing, I rent my garment and my mantle and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard and sat down astonished. So he was confounded. If Ezra took a time machine and came on the earth, and we took Ezra and said, okay, Ezra, look, instead of taking that journey to Jerusalem, we're going to take you to Baltimore, to the Baltimore Inner Harbor. All right, you come out in the summertime, springtime, fall time, come out. We're not going to make him hold post, right? You know, he's just gonna observe. As just show us what you see. We'll have to get him out of there, Because he'll be out there for 5 seconds and he'll pluck every hair of his beard out, rent his garment. He'll scream at the top of the sun. He might try to fight us because we're not doing enough. He might try to fight all hell to break loose, man. If he saw the current estate of the Israelites and what they were doing and who they were with, man. This one thing made him pluck off the hair of his head, man. Doesn't even say how much hair he plucked out. Maybe it was 90%. Maybe it was 50%. That's a painful thing to pluck out the hair of your head and your beard. But he was so confounded at the estate of the Israelites. That's what made him do that, because they were going off. These are the same things that were happening in Genesis, the 6th chapter. That's why Abraham told his servant Eliezer, Isaac ain't marrying these heathen women. He told her that. When Esau married them women of Canaan, Rebecca told Isaac, it's like it says, it was a grief of mind for Isaac and Rebecca when Esau married them heathen women. What else did she say? Let me get this real quick in Genesis 27. We winding down, right? This is Genesis 27. I want 43, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. I'm going to start at 46. I'll get straight to the point. Genesis chapter 27 and 46. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these, which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do to me? She said, these damn Hamites ain't like my people, man. This one, a so-called black woman, was in her right mind. She said, look at these, man. My son can't deal with these African women, man. These heathen women. That's what Israel, the Israelite woman, this was her mind back then. And the Israelite woman needs to get back in that mindset. And stop letting your son be a homosexual, wear your auntie high heels, put lipstick on, touch into his feminine side. Your son don't have no feminine side. Got to be in touch with your feminine side. The only feminine side of a man is his wife. That's his woman. That's all the femininity, whatever. That's all he need from his woman. Man don't have no feminine side. You got these demon women. Oh, you're insecure because you ain't put lipstick on. Oh, you're insecure with your masculinity. That's a demon inside of them. Right? You're insecure with your masculinity because you didn't put the lip gloss on, because you didn't paint your nails. You're not a real man. A real man secure himself. He gonna wear panties and a bra, man. Hey, look, man. Let somebody tell me that, man. And a lot of men be into that, man. They defend that demon. Those are demons. That's lust, lasciviousness, lewdness. What else? Concupiscence. Rebecca said it straight up. She said, these heathen women ain't nothing, man. If my son take one of these women, I'm gonna be weary of my life. She might have caught a heart attack, man. Let's go to Genesis 28 and 1. Right? It reads, and Isaac, this is what Isaac did after he heard that, man. Right? Isaac, man, he heard that. Rebecca was in his ear. And he knew it too. So here's what Isaac did. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. So it was always the sons of God dealing with the women of their own nation. That's why Rebecca was with Isaac. They were cousins, straight up and down. Jacob and Rachel were cousins, straight up. Rachel and Leah were the daughters of Laban. That was his cousins, his first cousins. That's how it was. Now, is it like that right now? Should the brother, well, where's my cousin? Right? Brother, look, there's plenty of Israelite women in the truth. Nah, where my cousin? You gotta watch that, brother. Well, Rebecca and Isaac, and well, hold on, well, brother, look, brother, there's plenty of beautiful, virtuous Israelite women in its truth who don't have a husband. Make that your priority. Nah, because Laban. All right, brother. Right, those brothers, they gonna run into some issues. Nevertheless, in the ancient world, these men of the sons of God dealt with the women of their own nation. Right. So let's go back to that in Ecclesiasticus chapter 26. We wind it down. Right, Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 and verse number 21. It's like in verse 20. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thy own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock. And you, brother, you got to love yourself, man. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to love your skin. You have to love your woolly hair. You got to look in the mirror and say, man, I'll praise to the Most High. I'm an Israelite, man. You got to love your beard. You got to love your facial features, man. Hey, being in this truth should boost your confidence. We were always taught that everything that we have is nothing. Your lips are too big, your nose too wide, your skin is too dark, your hair is nappy. We were always taught that our physical features are worse than anybody else, man. You come into this truth, you find out that you are the chosen people, man. And everything you have, they try to get it. And they'll never be able to. You're supposed to have confidence, man. You look just like the Lord, man, and the angels. You're a walking entity, the Son of God on the earth. Trust in that, man. Right? Verse 21. So thy race, which thou leavest, shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent. So you want to have that mind of trusting in the goodness of your stock. You want your son to look like you, man, to look like your people. You want your daughter to look like you and your people. You don't want your son to look like damn John Travolta, man. Brad, what's this guy? Blake Griffin's son is a so-called white man. Well, he's not a so-called white man. See that? He's not a so-called white man. He's an Israelite. But if he grow up and he deal with a Edomite woman, it's over. Look at this. It's over for Ford. What's his name? Ford Wilson. Why would they name him Ford Wilson? You know that one. See, Blake Griffin, he's a Levite. Damn, Ford Wilson. That's some old slave master white man name. Ford Wilson Cameron. That's not a Jake name. Ain't no salt on that name. So they ain't come from his father's side. That came from whatever woman he's dealing with, man. And what she had going on. Ford Wilson. I'd be pissed if that was my name. Now he's an Israelite. Don't get me wrong. But if he get with an Edomite woman, that stock, that he ain't going. It's all about the spirit. We get it. We understand. It's about the spirit. But he's not going to. In the ancient world, he'll get frowned upon. I'll leave it like that. He'll get frowned upon in the ancient world. He's an Israelite. He's going to have the spirit to serve the Most High. Now, if he want to make this right, he better get him an Israelite woman, man, a sister. He better clean that up. He got some cleaning up he got to do. Right? He got some cleaning up he got to do because Blake Griffin's dad is darker than me. So, going back to this, let's go back to Genesis chapter 6, right, as we wind down. Right? Genesis chapter 6 and verse number 2 again. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and took them wives of all which they chose. And really, they had demons on them, straight up and down. They had demons. They went against the commandment, lasciviousness, lust, pride, lewdness, rebellion. Those are all demons that worked on the sons of God and caused them to go off. And that was one, not the only, that was one of the main reasons why the Most High sent the flood, because the sons of God cannot control their flesh. They cannot control themselves. Even in these last days, we're going into this because we are the sons of God, and brothers are supposed to maintain a level of integrity and discipline. And in this world of hyper sexualization through the media, through the workplace, through social media, right, through TV, through music, you're at war against these forces. And these Amalekites who own these industries, it's their purpose and goal and intention to have you please the flesh. These algorithms are demonic. Think about it. It's literally created to give you what the flesh wants. It is not to give you the spirit. Your algorithm might be highlights of football or highlights of cooking or whatever you're into, but it's never about precepts. It never changes and says, hold on, you're too much into the flesh. Let me give you some precepts. Here's a breakdown. Here's a lesson. Right? Here's a cold cut. Here's your notes. They don't warn you about that. It's to dive you deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole of the flesh that you can never come out of. That's what some people, they'll scroll for hours because it's tapping into all of those demons inside of you. All of the things of the flesh. Now, there's nothing wrong with scrolling, whatever. You're looking up stuff, you're doing, whatever. But when you get deep into it, then lasciviousness and sexual things, and it turns into freakism and madness, it's all about the flesh. So we're in this age of, we're at war with these forces and these spirits. Pornography, lewdness, masturbation, freakism, fornication. It's all of this whole world is about the flesh. Because the so-called white man is carnal. Let me get this in Romans 8. I know we winding down. Right? Romans 8 and 5. It reads, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So you want to be you want to be spiritually minded. You don't want to be carnally minded, right? Carnally minded meaning you're pleasing the flesh, right? You're doing all things that make you feel good. Everything that feel good ain't good for you, man. And Jake, have discipline. Pray for the spirit of discipline, the Holy Spirit of discipline. Fast. A lot of brothers, you don't even fast. That's why it's so easy for your flesh to just go off. Fast and purge out those demons. Those demons are here. They're running rampant. They're to and fro in the earth to try you. You want to be spiritually minded. You want to be confident that you're going to combat these demons. And you feel good when you overcome these demons. So don't have the spirit that was resting on the sons of God. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 40 and 22. Right? Maybe get one more, maybe two more. This Ecclesiasticus, the 40th chapter and verse number 22. Is that what I want? Is that 41? It's lucky. I'm going to have to get this precept. All right, bear with me. I had this precept I want to get through the spirit of the Most High. It's like it's Sirach 40, same chapter. It's verse 9. Ecclesiasticus chapter 40 and verse 9. It reads, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. Let's read that again. And these are judgments. These are spirits. These are demons of vengeance. Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked. The Lord has created spirits to destroy, to punish, to ravage, to break down, dissemble the wicked. And for their sakes, for the wicked sake, and all the things that they have done, all of their lies and murder and rebellion and lust, they went against the ancient order. And they knew what Adam said. They knew about Seth. They knew about Enoch. Enoch was out there prophesying to him. You don't think you had prophets out there telling them, don't deal with the women of the daughters of the land? You had men out there, and they were still going off, and for their sake came the flood. And we know that there's another flood coming. This flood is by fire. This flood is by fire, man. So if brothers don't fight these demons, and the Lord said there be many that have run out of their wits for women and became servants for their sake. Let me get that real quick. This may be the last precept. I may get one more after. Right? First Ezra 4:26. It reads, yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women. So you brothers that are dealing with lust issues, women issues right now, man, remember this precept. Don't be running out of your wits for women. How do I please her? She want me to do this, and I'm trying to keep up with her, and what's she for this, and I got to be here, and hey, look, man, what do I buy her? And you're running out of your wits, and become servants for their sake. Now you become a servant to her, but you become a servant to that demon inside of her. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. You don't want your trip to the kingdom to be negated by your lust, because you just couldn't control yourself. You couldn't say no. You couldn't discipline your eyes. You couldn't discipline your thoughts. You couldn't discipline your mind, your flesh. So now you missed out on eternal life, the kingdom of heaven, all of the promises and glory that the Most High had, because you decided that you can't fight those demons. Many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women. And the Most High, that's why man's life is shut down because of that. That's what Genesis chapter 6:3 is saying. And Yahweh said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. So the Most High cut man's lifespan. Remember, Adam was what? 930. Methuselah was 969. You had men that was almost living 1,000 years, and the Most High cut down man's lifespan. These are the demons, some of the demons, rather, that caused the flood. Not that they were doing things against the Most High's will, but they were resting on the sons of God. And the Most High put those spirits to try the sons of God, and the sons of God failed. These aren't the days of failing. These aren't the days of failing. You have to pass that test, man. Pass these trials. This truth is nothing but test. Little test, big test, right? That's all this truth is. Temptations and tests and trials, and the Most High, is his brother going to pass? I'm going to bring this woman to him. How is he going to handle it? I'm going to put him in a situation. What is he going to do? This is going to be on his screen. How is he going to respond? All this truth is nothing but big test and small test. You got to understand that, man. You have to understand that. These are the demons that caused the flood, because the Most High judged them. We read that in Sirach 40. For their sake came the flood. Let's get one more. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 3rd chapter. All right, we'll get one more through the Spirit. Maybe two more. Right? 2nd Ezra, chapter 3. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 3, and verse number 8. And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments. Who was giving the commandments? The sons of God. They despised them. They went after their own will. These are the days where people are promoting to go after your own will, to do what you want to do. Whatever pleases the flesh, do it. Whatever makes you feel good, do it. You only got one life to live, do it. Do it while you can. Get it off your bucket list. This world is full of pleasing the flesh. So what happened? Verse number 9. And again, in process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroyest them. And it came to pass in every of them, that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah with his household, of whom came all righteous men. Don't die in a new flood that's coming because of your own lust, because of your own concupiscence, lasciviousness. Those are demons. Those are demons, and you rebuke those demons out loud. You gotta look at people. Next time that whore come before you, that's a demon. That's an actual demon. That seducer, that's a demon. Those flattering eyes, that's a demon to sift you out. And the sooner that you understand that, the better off you'll be. The things and spirits that pop up all in your sights and your phone, and those are spirits to tempt you. So with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh. Bahashima Mashiach Wamalak Yabushai. Again, this is the new moon. Why do we go into the flood? Because the 8th month, went into it earlier, it's the month of the early rain. It's the month of the early rain. It's the month that goes into the produce and the increase of the earth. And when you have that rain, it's to increase for to grow your crops through the spirit of the Most High. But also it goes into the flood, right? It goes into the flood. So the 8th month is the time of rain, right? In the ancient world, it was full of rain, and you had the seeds that were planted after you plow, but through the spirit, we're thinking of the rain that's coming. And this rain that's coming is not by water, but the Most High is going to rain fire and brimstone. So don't get caught up in that rain due to these demons. Those same demons that caused the flood are the same demons, and why the Most High is going to bring this next rain and this next flood by fire. So with that, we're going to close up. Most High willing, everybody has a prosperous, beautiful, glorious new moon full of righteousness, full of praising the Most High, full of feasting and mirth and laughter and joy, and you're increasing wonderfully in the Lord. From Yahshua. Shalom.